Good morning, YouTube. Knucklehead here. I just wanted to give you a short video explaining something that I have discovered that may help all of you as it has helped me. So, real quick, if you're like me, the one thing that drives you crazy when you're building a quad, whether it be one of these or one of these, is mounting these onto these. I hate it. Let me show you how to do it better. So, this is how I do it. Any of you who have built multi-rotors before understand, as I understand, that when you try to mount speed controls onto multi-rotor arms, a lot of times there is not a nice smooth surface to put that speed control onto. The common way, as many of you are doing it currently, is using zip ties to hold the speed controller onto the arm. This is functional, it does work, but if you're OCD like me, it doesn't look very pretty and you usually get a wobbly, kind of not nice fit for your speed control. And if you fly like me, which is through a lot of trees and into underbrush and you crash all the time, there is that slight risk of breaking a zip tie and losing that speed control to damage or water or something. So I came up with a way, or found a way, through building several quads that works for me. It's a nice tidy way to mount your speed controls. They go on nice and snug regardless of the shape of the arm, and it looks better. It works better. Let me show you. What you see before you are my two quads. These are what I have ended up with after several builds. The one on the left, this is my 500mm frame. This is still a work in progress. It's ready to fly right now, but I got no video gear on it, so I'm kind of waiting until that shows up. This is my Hobby King Pocket 240. You've seen a couple videos on these, on this quad posted on my channel, so please watch those. I use two different methods for mounting my speed controls on each one of these quads, and so far I found them to be the best out of any method. And you could say zip ties, just zip tie it on there, it's no big deal, but I'm a little bit more particular about how my quads look and how they operate, so I went with a different method, and I will show you how to do both of them. Method number one is using what's called emergency repair tape. It's a non-adhesive silicone tape that wraps right around it. It sticks only to itself. It's heat resistant, cold resistant, and water resistant, and very inexpensive. And for a base, I am using a 1/4 inch thick foam rubber. I will show you how I do that in just a minute. For my mini quads, I still use foam rubber as a base, but instead of using any tape, I just take 1 inch or 1.5 inch clear heat shrink tube, and I heat shrink that thing right onto the arm. Makes a really nice snug fit. Keeps debris out of there. It's nothing really for it to catch on. Twigs and stuff just come right off of it, whereas zip ties can sometimes get caught. So with that being said, let me show you how I do it. Alright guys, this right here is all you need to make it happen. We got an arm, some scissors, our speed control, foam rubber, emergency repair tape. You can find emergency repair tape on Amazon.com or other websites for about $7.50. This stuff you can find pretty much anywhere. I found this out of, it was being used for insulation or packing for a printer, and I just grabbed what was left over and didn't toss it. So anywhere you can find foam rubber, use it. Otherwise, you can pick up some of this at your local hobby shop. Not quite as dense as the black stuff, but still just as effective. So all you gotta do is take your speed control. Now this may be tricky because I'm doing it with one hand, so I hope I can pull this off. So first, take your speed control and measure it up on the foam rubber. Once you see about the size you want it to be for your base, you just take your scissors. This is going to be tricky, so bear with me. Alright, so we got our foam rubber cut to fit our speed control. Next thing you do, place it on the arm where you want to mount your speed controller. Take your speed controller. The great thing with this foam rubber is you can mount these either way. It doesn't matter. It will stick, or it will form to the bumpy side as much as it will form to the nice and flat side that most of us use. Just to show you how effective this is, I'm going to put it on the more abrasive side. So once you're ready, you take your speed control and you place it where you want it to be located on your arm. Next, take your emergency repair tape, cut about a 6-inch strip, or larger depending on the size of your quad, off of this. All right, once you have your 6-inch strip of silicone rubber emergency, or once you have your 6-inch strip of emergency repair tape cut, the next thing you want to do is wrap it onto the arm as you peel off the backing. So I'm going to do that real quick because I only have one hand. I can't do it without two. So I'm going to cut here and I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're done. All right, here is a finished and mounted arm. Backing, throw it away. It's done. There it is. Sticks to itself, no adhesive, and it is on there good and snug. Very little tension, very little pressure on the speed controller. It's riding on the foam. That is not ever going to come off. There's no wiggle, no play. Plenty of room for it to breathe. Just remember when you're wrapping it, you do get a little help because the silicone naturally sticks to the shrink tube on the speed control. But your first tie, just make sure that you get as much surface to surface contact as you can so it adheres, and then put a little tension on it and finish out the 6-inch wrap, and that'll be more than enough material to hold those on there. Alright guys, last but not least, we're just going to show you quickly how to mount a speed control to a mini quad arm using shrink tube and a piece of foam rubber. Basically all you got to do, take your arm, cut your foam rubber to size, place it on the arm. This of course is an oversized speed controller, but I don't have any 12 amps lying around, so this is a 40 ampere. Obviously probably wouldn't use a 40 amp speed control for a 250 size quad, but just for the sake of the demo, this is what I'm going to use. So you take your speed control, you place it on top of the foam rubber where you want to mount it. Next you take a 1.5 inch or 1 inch, 1.5 inch piece of heat shrink tube, or whatever size you need to get the job done, and you cut it however wide you want. You can have it covering the entire speed control, or you can cut it just narrow enough just to basically wrap around the waist of the speed control just to hold it in place. So I'm going to slide that on there and I'm going to show you the next step. Alright, I haven't hit it with heat yet just because I don't want to shrink this together. It's just going to be a waste of material, but all you got to do at this point is take your heat gun or a torch and just lightly hit this shrink tube, and it'll put some tension on there and hold it on. As you can see, even without heat, just because of the size of the material, it's got a pretty firm hold on that speed control already. The only negative side to mounting your speed controls this way is that you have to be really careful about the steps you take to assemble it. You have to mount your motor, get your speed control wire configuration figured out so it's rotating the right direction, get everything soldered, get it put on the arm, and then install it onto the frame, or first get it on there, put the shrink tube on, and then put it onto the frame before hitting it with the heat. Otherwise, you're gonna have to backtrack. So there's only really one way that you can put these on there. To get it off, you got to repeat those steps. So the only way to get it off is to cut it, and then to put it back on, you got to disassemble it and reshrink it. But my experience, once you get your speed controls where you want them, get them all soldered, you're not going to be moving them and replacing them all that much anyway. So this is a really good semi-permanent way to mount small speed controls onto mini multi-rotor arms. Alright guys, that's it for me today. I hope you found this video helpful. I know that for me, if you're really particular and meticulous about how you like your speed controls to be mounted and how you like your quads to look, this to me has been the best way by far to get those speed controls on there. If you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment bar. Thank you for watching. More videos to come. Have a wonderful day.